Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is Power Play, and we're joined as always by Chris Uminski. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing quite well. Excited to talk a little bit of the Bruins offseason, particularly you want to talk about PK Subban, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what's happening with him? I know we've talked in the past about how he's maybe isn't your favorite player in the world, but the Bruins might be getting him, is that right?
Yeah. So before I go any further, here's what I think about PK Subban. I have a lot of really mixed emotions about him.
Sure.
There was a point in time when he was probably one of the best players in the league. There's certainly no denying that he's a talented player. The problem with PK Subban is for the longest time, he played for the Montreal Canadiens. That didn't go well for him in my book. So maybe I'm a little biased because of that, but also some parts of his playing style I don't really respect. I think if there's one thing that you really can't do in hockey, and I bet other sports that are just as inherently violent as hockey is, you'd probably agree, is that he takes a lot of dives.
Mm-hmm.
I think he developed that reputation a few years ago, where he would be taking dives in order to get calls from the refs, and at least from a fan perspective, that's not cool. I don't like seeing that. If you're gonna take a hit, take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got a bit of an ego on him. He knows who he is. He knows the kind of skill that he has, and I don't know about you, but I don't like it when a player has so much ego that they can put themselves above their team. Sometimes, I guess that's why I'm not a big basketball fan. But
Right.
yeah, there's no denying he's a
you.
talented. Yeah, he's a talented player. I'm happy to see that the Bruins are going after a defenseman. That much I am happy about. I'm happy to see that they're at least trying to do something. I don't know if I'd be super happy with PK Subban here now. He's been declining his last few years. I just was looking up some stats, and his points per game is a big stat in hockey. 5 years ago, he was averaging at least 2 points a game, sometimes more. Which that's a lot. That's at least 2 assists or at least 2 goals, one or the other. But in the last few years, since he's been playing for the Devils, who are not a good team to begin with, his numbers have been declining. He's been taking less penalty minutes too, which is a weird thing to not be a good stat, but in my mind at least, penalty minutes reflects how aggressive you are as a player, how tough you are as a player. And I don't know if he'd be a good fit for the Bruins, because typically all throughout Boston sports, we're not big fans of the whole ego thing. And I don't know if that particular play style where he doesn't play super aggressive, at least not as much as he used to, would be a good fit with the Bruins.
Right. And do you think how much of the decline do you think is age versus being on kind of a shitty team with New Jersey?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. When he played for Montreal, like I said, he was an elite player. He was league MVP one year. Just a couple of years after he started. He comes from a big hockey family also. He has 2 brothers, both of them play in the NHL. Malcolm Subban was a backup goalie for the Bruins a few years ago. He got traded from Montreal to Nashville, and he was still pretty good with Nashville. But then since he's been playing with the Devils, he just hasn't really looked like himself. He is getting old, definitely getting into the twilight of his career, probably. But I don't know, the Devils aren't that good of a team, so maybe without having a good team around him, that's affecting him.
Yeah. Yeah, the older you get, I mean, it really relies on the teammates. You don't see many, superstars still trying to carry when they're old. Even looking like Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, he obviously is great, but he has a really good supporting cast around him that kind of elevates and makes up for some of the shortcomings that age might cause. So I guess is there any word on what it would cost the Bruins to get him?
What it would cost the Bruins to get him? I'm assuming if they're going to trade for him, probably a draft pick or two, and probably a prospect. I don't know that they'd want to give up too much for a player that's probably not going to be around for too much longer. Right. Who's, like I said, in his decline. I don't think we're going to have to get rid of any big. We're going to have to trade any big stars for him.
Right. So I guess I know we've talked about it a lot. Like, you want a defender, but it doesn't sound like you're too high on this potential trade happening or this potential acquisition for the Bruins. Safe to say.
Yeah, I don't think I am. I think I'm in lockstep with the rest of Bruins Nation right now. I don't hate that they're looking at him, but I just don't think he's going to be the right guy.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And one of the articles I was reading, it said that he has a $9 million annual contract. That's expensive in hockey.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, $9 million is $9 million. That's especially like that money reflects how he was doing earlier in his career, I think, when he was that elite player.
Right.
But now that he's
Yeah, so it doesn't look like Bruins should go for him from what you're saying, for the money, for the potential picks and potential anything else you'd have to give up. So anyone who is coming on this video hoping to get their hopes up about Subban, how's it pronounced?
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
Subban, I don't.
All right.
I don't.
Well, if he watches, I apologize for butchering the last name, but I don't think that's especially likely. But yeah, if anyone's watching, thinking they're gonna hear like this is a done deal, probably isn't gonna happen from where we're standing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the Leafs are also looking at him. I wouldn't mind seeing him go to the Maple Leafs. I love rooting against the Maple Leafs, even though they're not the huge rival. It's just so much fun to root against them, just because they're so bad and for all the worst reasons. Right. Like, it's not even that they're a bad team; it's just they're bad in like a meme-ish way. There's nothing else to say.
Oh man!
So I'd like to see him go there, and then I can root against him a little more.
Feel good about it. All right. Anything else you want to touch on for this episode?
I guess not. I mean, I do want to mention that there was a little. If you haven't had a chance, go onto Twitter and look at the back and forth between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes have just been trolling the Montreal Canadiens over a signing that they just made. Just very happened about, I don't know. I'm usually pretty good at these last names, but I'm not good at this one.
Sure.
I'm a Finnish player. Both Montreal and Carolina made offer sheets to him. Carolina won the bidding war, and they're just trolling Montreal.
Talking shit.
Now, but how they got this star player right out from under them. One of the tweet they announced it in was in French, which is just absolutely cold. Beautiful. Yeah, but I think that'll do me for this.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, Chris, where can they find you online?
Find me on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter, Chris_Uminski, always tweeting about hockey, the latest stuff. That's from a Bruins perspective, also.
Cool. Go find him there. The Twitter handle is right there on the screen, so you can find him on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at the fake BMAR, that's BMARR. Channels on Twitter at WickedGoodSport or WG Everything. Instagram, Wicked Everything. Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedGoodEverything. And on TikTok, search Wicked Good Everything. We have so much content on this channel right now on Wicked Good Sports. Let me tell you, I think this is video 13 of the week going to be going up. So, yeah, you don't want to miss anything that we have going on here. Make sure you subscribe. Chris, thank you so much for your time. And,
thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll see you in the next one.